My name is Brent DiBiase. I'm a senior here at Regis. I'll be attending Notre Dame next year for baseball.
Tell us a little bit about your youth sports career.
So growing up, I first started playing all three of my sports when I was little. I think I first started with hockey when I was about 5. Learned how to skate, and then kind of picked up the lacrosse stick and the baseball around the same time as well. And then just kind of bounced back and forth between all three of them.
Tell us a little bit about your Regis Jesuit sports career.
So coming into Regis, I was kind of undecided on what I wanted to do. I ended up, like a week before freshman year started, I ended up sitting down with Coach Starr and Coach Soren, and kind of just talking through it, what I needed to do, what I wanted to do. And they kind of just sent me home and said, you got to pick one, you can't do both. My heart kind of desired baseball a little more, so that's the one I ended up going with.
Let's talk about your upcoming college sports career.
I'm really looking forward to it. I had 6 Division I offers, but I definitely wanted to go to a Catholic school, which narrowed it down to 3 of them, University of San Diego, Xavier University, and Notre Dame. And Notre Dame just seemed like the best fit with the coaching staffs and the overall college experience that I would have there.
Let's talk about you and your early yet successful lacrosse career. How long did you play for?
So I started playing lacrosse pretty much since I could run around. I think it was like 6 when I picked up a lacrosse stick for the first time. Kind of played just on a local neighborhood team. Just a Cherry Creek team. Then kind of moved to playing with a couple of guys that are still playing here at Regis on a Bandits team. And then overall, eventually got into the program of Denver Elite with the Tierneys over at DU, and ended up playing Denver Elite for, I believe, 4 or 5 years.
What school did you get an offer from?
I think that lacrosse is an interesting sport, going on the fact that most of it's played on the East Coast. We traveled a lot to New Jersey, Baltimore. We ended up at Towson one year. That's kind of where I sparked some interest. It was mostly some small D3 schools, but I eventually started to talk to a couple Division I schools before eventually giving up the sport and chasing baseball.
What made you make the switch from lacrosse to baseball?
It's kind of a funny story because I was definitely better at lacrosse than I was at baseball, but I just kind of had just a driven passion for the sport of baseball, more so than I did lacrosse practice. I remember in 8th grade, I kind of dreaded going to lacrosse practices and was always excited to go to baseball practices. So that kind of showed me what I wanted to do through my heart.
You're committed to Notre Dame. How was your recruiting process?
Originally I had started talking to some schools out west. My first Division I baseball sparked interest was Arizona State. Second, I was followed closely by University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. And then I started to kind of realize that maybe that wasn't where I wanted to go. I really wasn't a West Coast kid. And so I started sending out some emails. I ended up emailing the Xavier coach that we were playing in a tournament in Ohio. He ended up coming out and watching. And then after I had kind of those 3 options on the table, I was able to use those to kind of gain interest from other schools, which is where San Diego and Notre Dame came along. Overall, like I said, I wanted to go to a Catholic school, which is why UCLA and ASU kind of got flushed, as well as Indiana University. And so I was kind of down to my 3 Catholic schools, and I guess one of the biggest things for me was that Notre Dame is the Catholic school of all Catholic schools, which was a big part in my decision. But as well, I just felt the most comfortable with that coaching staff and everything that was there.
Looking back, would you change anything?
I think I'm kind of a weird story in that sense because I was primarily lacrosse. I didn't even step on a mound to pitch until freshman year. So I don't know if there's anything I really could have changed. I didn't really know what I wanted when I was little. I always thought I wanted to be a lacrosse player. You grew up going to Outlaws games and everything, and you kind of just envision yourself going down that path. And so I always thought I would be lacrosse, but I don't think I would necessarily change anything. It just kind of happened the way it did.
Is it fair to say baseball is the sport you truly love?
I do love baseball. I definitely had my heart told me to go baseball over lacrosse for sure.